One wrong cup and the whole coffee shop in Fargo went under. Kaylee's lie cost 15 people their jobs and her own freedom. The wrong coffee. Evenings in Fargo stretch long. Rain slams the asphalt like it's trying to crack it down to sand. Lamps over the parking lot flicker, dropping pale circles of light into the puddles. On the glass door hung a sign, "We never mix up orders." The paper had warped in the damp, the letters bleeding, winking at every customer with cruel irony. Inside smelled of burnt beans, cleaning fluid, wet coats. Barista Kaylee wiped the counter, just thinking how to make it through the shift. Mr. Donovan, the owner, shuffled past. He gave her a nod, muttered, "Brew me some tea, will you? Coffee, not holding today." Then disappeared into the back, steps heavy, like he was hauling extra years with him. Not many orders. A man in a worn jacket walked in. Cough, apology, part of the order maybe, then straight to the point. Latte, no dairy, almond, soy, doesn't matter. An inhaler flashed in his pocket. Kaylee nodded, tapped the screen. Next, a girl in a green scarf, a bracelet on her wrist, slogan printed bold. Posters poked out of her canvas bag. She pushed up her glasses, said loud, sharp, "Black coffee, no milk, and please make sure there's nothing animal in it." Her voice carried the weight of botched protests and layered frustration. Kaylee turned to the machine, kept her eyes from rolling. Steam hissed, rose to the ceiling. 2 cups side by side, white and brown. Then her phone rang. Name of her ex lit the screen. Her hand faltered. She hung up, but the thought snagged her. Fingers moved on their own, set the cups on the counter. "Almond latte," she said, sliding a cup to the man. "Black coffee," she gave the second to the girl. The man nodded, thanks, sipped. The girl lifted the lid, sniffed, grimaced, said nothing. Everything looked fine. Nobody noticed the cups had switched. Minutes later, the man coughed again, louder. The girl typed furiously into her phone. Kaylee knew. Heart dropped, face stayed blank. "Say sorry, the register closes on you. Say it's correct, maybe you skate through." With cold certainty, she said, "That's exactly what you ordered." And under the hum of vents, the flicker of lights, the chain of events began, one that would soon wreck not just her, but 15 people around her. Morning came gray like a washed-out photo. Rain streaked the cafe window, neon above the door blinking like it doubted its own job. Inside, stale buns, cheap soap. Kaylee stood behind the counter, mask of businesslike cheer over a tired face. On the counter, a tip box labeled honesty of the day, empty. The door slammed. In came the girl with the green scarf, phone in hand, screen glowing with an open post. "You set me up, no greeting. I asked clear, no animal products, and what happened? 3rd time this week someone switches my order." Kaylee froze. She could end it with one word, sorry, but her tongue locked in place. "I wrote it down exactly as you said," she answered flat. "Your coffee's a lie in a cup," the girl snapped, shutting her phone hard. She dropped a business card on the counter, logo of her organization sharp in blue. On the screen, a red livestream icon was already blinking. Cold slid down Kaylee's back, then 2 teens came in, ordered fraps, laughed. Life seemed normal again. Only the tip box looked like a joke. That night, Donovan showed her his tablet. "Explain this," he said. On the screen, a post from Fargo Food Watch. "Fargo coffee poisons vegans with dairy." Under it, dozens of comments, a photo of one of their cups. "Nonsense," Kaylee forced a smile. "She made it up, I wrote it right." Donovan sat down, his voice dragged, thin and broken. "I've run this place 20 years, and this, because of a lid, because of a cup." He put the tablet away, and in that moment it was clear this wasn't a mix-up anymore. This was the town's story now. Digital gossip in Fargo falls like March snow, quiet then by morning adrift. The activists' posts spread to college stories, then to Fargo Food Watch. By night, Google reviews popped up. 1 star, they slip in milk. Another, better to drink tap water. The cafe phone rang, not orders, but voices saying, "You've lost a customer." The next day, fewer doors opened. Behind the counter, Kaylee tried to smile, hands shaking. One mistake etched into permanence. That evening, Donovan gathered staff. Long table, plastic water cups, a tired bulb overhead. "You see what's happening," voice dry as old toast. "They're killing us, and it's one of you who did it." Every face turned to Kaylee. She pressed her lips tight. "I did it right," she whispered. "My notes back me up." And the next night she made sure they did. Fresh slips, shaky handwriting, ink smudged metallic on her fingers. "If the paper says it, maybe I'll believe it," she thought, scribbling, "latte with milk." Donovan read them, stone-faced. His fist whitened around itself. "My loan's due tomorrow," he muttered sideways. "Already a month late. If we go under, the bank takes it all." Then the door opened. A courier dropped an envelope on the table. "Sign here," he said, "and no coffee for me. Your rating's tanked." A lawsuit. The coughing man had turned intolerance into a claim. Kaylee's fingers traced the edge of the paper. Lying had been easier than owning up. Now lying was the only bridge left across the avalanche. Outside, snow turned to slush. Inside, the air smelled not of coffee, but of fear. The courthouse in Fargo looked tired of its job. Gray walls, paint peeling off the rails. The hall smelled of wet jackets and burnt vending machine coffee. The soda machine jammed on every second can. People shook it like it owed them truth. In the courtroom sat the man in the worn trucker jacket. Red face, weary eyes, on his lap a folder of medical slips and receipts. He'd already missed a run, lost a bonus. Now he feared milk like black ice on a highway, cleared his throat again and again, apologizing with each cough. Kaylee sat across, drowning in a borrowed blazer too big for her shoulders. Donovan beside her, slouched, clutching a scuffed briefcase. His face wasn't angry, just empty, like someone watching his life slide out. The judge shuffled in, mumbled, fiddled with the mic. It stayed dead. A clerk lined in, whispered directions. The judge scowled, hit the switch. "The court is now in session." The prosecutor rose. "Reminder, the witness is under oath. False testimony carries penalty." Kaylee's face didn't move. Stone. "Do you confirm you served the plaintiff's order?" "Yes," she said, voice flat. "That's exactly what he ordered." A rustle swept the room. The man shot up, fist pounding the table. "I'm sorry, Your Honor, I was really sick." His voice cracked into cough. The lawyer reeled off numbers: allergic reaction, clinic visit, lost work hours, dry figures, heavy weight. The session was short. The judge, weary, postponed. Next date a month out. People left like after a dull lecture. Donovan lingered, looked at Kaylee long. That look held everything: overdue loans, an empty cafe, and a verdict already passed, not in court, but in his head. By week's end, the cafe felt like an empty rail car. Chairs creaked in silence, fridges hummed uselessly. 2, 3 customers a day, eyes down, drinks to go. On the window, a crooked printout: "We support honesty and care for our clients." The paper bubbled from damp peeling. Local news ran a segment. Reporter stood by the empty front, voice stiff. Fargo faces a coffee storm. Customers complain. The mic squealed, cameraman frowned, passers-by snickered off-screen. The farce sold better than the story. Staff peeled away. Jenna, who mopped nights, hauled off her old mop. Souvenir, she said, laughing without joy. Mike, teen barista, muttered. The supermarket coffee comes #free, safer there. Shrugged like this was a prank that went too far. Donovan carried in his wallet not kids' photos but a picture of his first grinder, showed it to whoever lingered. It all started with this, and this is where it ends. His voice cracked, no tears, only exhaustion. Kaylee sat in the back scrolling her phone. A meme flashed, her face beside Latte Queen. She smirked, killed the screen. No need for the town buzzing in her pocket. Next day, the cafe's mailbox overflowed. Pizza coupons, detox ads, papers with deals, and envelopes official. One had soaked through, letters blurred. Inside, another summons. Fargo doesn't forget quick. It reminds you daily in the smallest ways. The sign Fargo Coffee died at midday. Lights snapped, letters sank into gray shadow. Inside, silence. The building itself seemed done being a cafe. Staff came to collect what was theirs, Jenna with her mop, Mike with his backpack. On the shelf by the window sat mugs, each marked Lena, Rob, Jenna, Mike, nicknames, scribbles, biographies, now just a line of abandoned lives. Donovan stood at the register, shuffling papers. No curses, no shouting, only said. 15 paused, not blame, memorial. Kaylee by the window, fingers twisting a cup lid. She knew, court next, perjury, the summons already in her bag. On the street, the trucker walked by. Same jacket. He stopped, met her eyes, nodded. Kaylee's lips trembled on sorry. The word never left. He moved on. Across the street, a newsstand glowed. Eco smoothies, music from speakers. A line snaked out to the curb. People laughing, sipping green foam. The contrast too bright, an ending here, a beginning there. That night, when the last worker left, Kaylee pulled the shutter down. Metal slammed, echoed through the hollow room. Period at the end of a long sentence. She leaned against the wall, whispered to herself. The debt cup is empty. Rain pattered again. Fargo moved on. The cafe became another entry in the town's lost ledger. The shopfront sat bare. On the glass, a faded poster, best latte in town. Corners cracked, letters pale, rain washing away promises long void. Inside, 15 cups lined the sill, one for each worker, little tombstones. One tipped on its side like someone tried to resist the ending, didn't make it. Donovan handed the keys to the landlord, shrugged, jammed his hands in his pockets, walked off, didn't look back. 20 years of grind vanished like steam from a machine. Kaylee sat on a bench across. In her pocket, a public defender's card, meeting next week. White paper, heavier than any cup. She shifted it hand to hand, trying for warmth. The town went on. Cars rolled past, people into the pharmacy. For them, the cafe was just another closed spot in Fargo's string of small failures. Wind tugged the poster, rain thickened. The cup stayed, mute reminder that mistakes have a price. Fargo likes the truth. Sometimes it just shows up when the register's already closed.